Hello everyone and welcome back to Life Transformation UK, or if you're here for the first time, welcome to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben and it's my mission with this channel to help you achieve your freedom through confidence. And today I want to talk about how you can start to move past your insecurities. I'm going to be giving you 3 things that you definitely need to avoid in order to overcome your insecurities, and then 3 things that you can do, 3 practical tips that you can start using today to start to overcome your insecurities in your life. So if you're excited to learn how to move past your insecurities and start to overcome that in your life, then make sure you do watch this video all the way to the end so that you can get the most benefit from this video. And if you do find this content useful, if you find it enjoyable, make sure that you do smash the like button because it really helps to support the channel. It's great for the channel growth and also to let me know if I'm doing a good job with the creation of these videos. So insecurities are these things that can really tank our self-esteem if we let them get out of control. And insecurities are just one of those things that can get out of control really easy, kind of like gremlins. Actually, I think Brene Brown in her books about shame and insecurities and self-esteem refers to these insecure thoughts as gremlins as well. So definitely did not steal that from her, probably did. And the thing with insecurities is that they can really affect everyone, and they do affect everyone to a certain extent in your life. Take, for example, right before this video, I was very much insecure about starting to film today because I've got my lovely sunburn from being out in the sun a little bit too long yesterday. I've got my quarantine beard, and all these reasons in my head about, oh well, the video quality won't be as good and this and that. And there is a way to overcome them though. It's a very simple method to moving past your insecurities, and that is what I'm going to be sharing in this video today. But the first thing I want to go through is 3 things that you need to stop doing before you can start to move past your insecurities. And the first thing you're going to need to stop doing is bottling up your emotions. This was my go-to when I first started really learning how to cope with my emotions and recognize what was going on within me. I bottled everything up, and that eventually led to all of those feelings just tamping down further and further until the pressure just grew too much, and then I would have a massive emotional outburst and it would be very messy, and it always left me in a worse place than I thought it would. I thought that if I were to just bottle everything up, things would be a lot easier because then they are under control. But it's unfortunately not the way that emotions work. Emotions are supposed to be expressed and they're supposed to be put out there so that they can be appropriately dealt with. And if you are just hiding everything, then unfortunately there is going to come a time where there is going to be a sudden outburst of emotion, and the results of that can be potentially devastating for your life. So I would highly encourage you to never bottle up your emotions, always address what's going on within you and take things from there. The second thing to stop doing is to stop beating yourself up over having insecure thoughts. As I said towards the beginning of this video, everybody has insecurities. Even the most famous people, the people you'd think are the most confident people in the world, they all have their insecurities. We don't like how tall we are, how short we are. We don't like how much we weigh or how much we don't weigh. We don't like our eye colour. We don't like our sense of fashion. We don't like the way that we speak. There is an endless number of things to be insecure about. I would know because I've been insecure about most things in my life, which is a weird thing to flex on. But another popular method of attempting to reduce our insecurities is just by beating ourselves up whenever an insecure thought pops into our minds. We start thinking of ourselves as a bad person or a weak person. And that kind of negative self-talk really doesn't do anything other than feed the insecurities that we are not good enough. And as I've discussed in my video on how to create healthy self-esteem, low self-esteem is built on the belief that We are not good enough as we are. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. You can check that out. I'll have it pop up above my head as well in the banner. So check that video out if you want to learn more about the roots of self-esteem and how you can start to overcome low self-esteem in your life. But by beating ourselves up, we are just fueling that negative belief and tanking our self-esteem even further. And this is absolutely not the goal that we want. So when you do have insecure thoughts or negative thoughts at all, don't beat yourself up about it. These are perfectly normal thoughts to have. Everyone has negative thoughts and it's perfectly okay. It's just an absolutely natural process of your mind. So it's nothing to be worried about. Like I said, everyone has them, even the most confident people in the world. As I've already said at the beginning of this video, I had a bunch of insecurities going through my mind before I started to press the record button. So it's not something to worry about. It's something that is going to affect everyone. And then the third thing, which I highly recommend that you eliminate in order to overcome your insecurities, is positive thinking. Now, I am not a big positive thinking fan at all, as I have referenced in many videos before, and I even think that there is a negative impact that positive thinking can have on your self-esteem. That's something that I did a video on a couple of weeks ago, so I'll put links to that in the description in the banner as well, so you can check that video out if you'd like to. The reason I think that positive thinking is not ideal for overcoming your insecurities is that it does not make you face them, and you do have to face your insecurities in order to overcome them. So that's the first reason why I don't think it's an ideal strategy for overcoming insecurities, because you can't hide from them. Positive thinking very much falls back into the trap of bottling it all up, ignoring it, putting it in a corner and not addressing it until it's far too late. The other thing is that positive thinking encourages you to police your thoughts in a brutal way almost, where any negative thought you have becomes almost like a mini failure. And we all have negative thoughts. We can't control the thoughts that pop into our head. They're called automatic negative thoughts, or ants. And this is a very popular concept in psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy, the idea that we actually cannot control our thoughts, but we can control our responses and actions. But simply policing those thoughts and saying, no, those thoughts are bad, is not actually helping you, because the thoughts in and of themselves aren't actually that bad. They're just thoughts that you've had, and by labeling them as negative, you run the risk of going down the route of beating yourself up or bottling those emotions and feelings and thoughts away, and consequences ensue from there. I definitely think that positive thinking and having a positive outlook on life certainly has its place, but it's not going to be a cure for insecurities as such, because it is very much a denial mechanism in these cases. So I would highly recommend that if you are trying to use positive thinking to overcome your insecurities, it's great to have positive thinking, but I'm going to share with you a better way to overcome your insecurities in the next 3 tips. Okay, so we've quickly gone through the 3 things that you need to stop doing in order to start to move past your insecurities. Let's move into the 3 practical tips that you can start using today to overcome your insecurities in your life. And the very first one is simply recognizing that thoughts are thoughts. And this is something that I've already alluded to in this video, but we all have thoughts, and we have thoughts that just pop into our head for absolutely no reason at all. Sometimes the thoughts are funny, sometimes the thoughts are stupid, sometimes the thoughts are horrendous, and that is absolutely okay, because it's just a function of a normal mind to have automatic thoughts just fly in and out all day. And our initial instinct is usually just to label these thoughts as good or bad, negative or positive. And as I've already said, that's not necessarily the best route to go down, especially when these are not something that you can actually control. So the best thing to do is not to label the thoughts at all, and just start to understand that the thoughts that pop into your head are just thoughts. They're not actually you producing these things, because if you think about it, there is always 2 parts to the mind. There is the part that generates these random weird and potentially automatic negative thoughts. And then there's the part of you that actually observes it. And that part that observes it is you. The part that labels it is you. So you are not the thoughts themselves. You are the observer of the thoughts. You are the person sitting in the cinema viewing a movie as such, and not necessarily the movie itself. Which I suppose is a pretty good analogy, because most of the automatic thoughts that do pop into your head are absolute fiction anyway. So remember that you are the observer, and that means that your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not you, they're not good, they're not bad. They're just events that are happening. Okay, the second tip that you can start using today to overcome your insecurities is start to keep a thought journal. And this is just going to be a very, very easy method for you to get what is in your head out of your head. So when an automatic negative thought does pop into your mind, if an insecurity occurs in your mind, all you have to do is just write it down, and then you can address it at a later time. This, as I said, this gets those thoughts out of your mind and it puts them on paper where you can address them. Oftentimes when something's in your head, it allows you to take down different tangents and go down different paths and never actually resolve what's going on. But when you actually write out an insecurity that you have, it's on paper, it's real, you can deal with it. So let's say you write down a thought such as, people think that ginger hair is disgusting. You can write that down and you can start to actually examine that thought in your journal. Does everybody think that ginger hair is gross? Of course not. And you can kind of break down that insecurity from there. And you'll find that when you write down your insecurities, oftentimes, once they're on the page, they are just going to look ridiculous, because they are things that just don't totally make sense until you put them into sunlight, if you will. And this is kind of like the saying of sunlight being the best disinfectant. That's precisely how insecurities work. You put them out into the light of day, you write them down in a thought journal, and you can start to address them a lot easier from there, because they're not just floating around in your head. You can sit down, you can analyze, you can collect evidence and really dismantle an insecurity once you have gotten it written down. So I would recommend spending a little bit of time just writing down all of your thoughts, good, bad, it doesn't matter. Don't label them, just write down what is in your head, and then you can start to really address those thoughts. And the good news is, as you're doing that, as you're writing down all the different types of thoughts that are popping into your head, the ones that you would perhaps label as positive, the ones you would perhaps label as negative, and then there's going to be ones that you would definitely label as just plain ridiculous, you're going to start to understand that the thoughts that pop into your head are automatic, and most of them are totally meaningless. And the final tip, the final step to overcoming your insecurities, in this video at least, is to learn how to change your belief systems. Now, I said earlier that I was going to show you a better way than positive thinking, and that is through the creation of positive beliefs. And this is something that I've spoken about on this channel before, so I won't go into great depth about it. I will leave a link in the description, in the banner as well, to a video on how to restructure your belief system. But the way that this works is that positive thinking is just a thought that you have. It doesn't have any evidence to back it up, and a lot of the time it is kind of more like an affirmation or wishful thinking. And because of that, it's really easily dismantled by an insecurity. Let's say that you are telling yourself over and over and over again, I'm an attractive person, I'm good looking, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, and an insecurity comes in and says, no, you're not, then it cancels out pretty much straight away. So in order to create more bulletproof positive thinking, what you want to develop is positive beliefs, which means that instead of just having the positive thought, you generate a positive thought and then you go out and purposefully find evidence to back it up. Or you could take a different route, which is to identify an insecurity and go and find the evidence against it. You really want to put on your detective hat and absolutely go to work on this. Go to town with creating as much evidence against the insecurity and for a positive belief as possible, because the more evidence you have to back up a positive belief, the more that belief becomes real. And when you truly believe something, nothing is going to shake it. For me, one of my big insecurities was making eye contact with strangers because I thought it was rude. I thought people wouldn't like it. I thought that people would get really, really angry and really kick off with me if I made eye contact with them in public. So what I did to dissuade that insecurity was that I walked through London, the busiest parts of London, for an entire day, just making eye contact with as many people as possible. And most of the time, people just did not care, or they looked away, or some people gave me a strange look. Nothing bad happened. And through that, I was able to move past that insecurity and create a new belief that really it doesn't matter all that much. And eye contact is pretty easy. It's not scary and people aren't going to get angry at you. So you identify what you want your belief to be, and then you go out and you find as much evidence for it as possible. And in that way, you're creating bulletproof positive thinking that cannot simply be cancelled out by a random insecure thought. So I hope you have found this video useful. If you have done, please make sure to leave a like on the video down below, because it really helps to support the channel, really helps with the channel growth, and to let me know if I'm doing a good job as a content creator on here. If you have any questions or any comments, any video requests, anything like that, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. I put out 3 videos every single week. Monday is on self-esteem, Wednesday is on self-confidence, and then Friday is more general self-improvement. So make sure that you do stick around for that kind of content and subscribe with the notifications on if you want to be notified when those new videos are out. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll be able to use the information in this video to start to overcome and move past your insecurities today. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I look forward to having you back on the Life Transformation UK channel very soon.